Wake your punk ass up.
It's raw. It's raw every goddamn year.
Yes, Lord.
CIRV'N raw, goddamn.
Subscribe to CIRV'N IT RAW and let's keep it
all the way funky, uncut, raw. CIRV'N IT RAW, just like my boy Gunna Kane.
Yes, Lord. You done tapped in the CIRV'N IT RAW podcast. I am your host, Gutter Kane, the Gutter Man, the Pyrex Iron Chef. This is the show where we let the conversation just flow. And today, I have the pleasure of introducing a remarkable guest who is making waves in both the podcasting and makeup industries. She is the talented host of the Music and Makeup Podcast. Known for her engaging style and insightful discussions, let's extend a warm welcome to the incredible Nola Darling. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. That was good.
I put a lot in these intros.
Okay, honey, I'm over here busting at the seams. I like that.
Yes.
I like that. Thanks for having me.
Oh, for sure. You know, the first thing I noticed was you did an interview with King Shamps, who I interviewed as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I interviewed him around January, the beginning of this year. Yeah, and I saw the interview, and I was like, okay, I like how, you know, you were engaging with him and being insightful with the music and stuff. So then I looked into your episodes and what you had going on, and I like how you added the makeup as well as the album reviews, and I was just like, okay, you know what? I need to bring her on so I can have a discussion with her and stuff like that. So that
yes, thank you.
Now, one thing, Nola Darling. How did you get the name? Because I wanted to know, did you get it from the Let's Have It?
Yeah, from Spike Lee. So yes, She's Gotta Have It.
She's Gotta Have It. Yeah, that's what I meant.
So Spike Lee is my favorite director. I'm gonna say one of my favorite directors, but he is like in that very short list of favorite directors. And She's Gotta Have It was my first Spike Lee movie that I ever saw, and it had the character Nola Darling had such a profound effect on me because she was just something different than I had seen, like in a woman played in a movie. She was making her own. It wouldn't be seen so controversial now, but at the time it was, because she was like making her own choices about dating. She wasn't dating, now people date more than one person, but back then it was, I don't know, it was very controversial that she was dating different people and, was not letting herself be put into a box. She was an artist, but I just liked the way that she was a woman that I saw that life was not happening to her. She was like calling the shots and having some kind of control over her life. So that always stuck with me. Again, love everything that Spike Lee has made. And so as I've gotten older, I think of personas or AKAs, it just began to stick. Nola Darling.
Okay, I think it fits you very well.
Thank you.
Okay, well, I want to start. So, can you tell us a little bit about where you from, your hometown?
I am from Virginia Beach, Virginia, the home of the Neptunes, Pharrell, the Clipse. Yeah, so I'm from this probably from the 757, and now I'm in Northern Virginia, but. My area, I've always said Virginia Beach, and I will stand by this. We have some of the best talent. Just even if you just say musically, we haven't even got to athletics, but I'm just going to say musically, we have some of the best talent in the world. I was telling someone, like us having a versus, like the world is lusting for us just from two people from our area to have a versus. And I always said that would break the internet, and talking about Pharrell and Missy. So I'm like, I said we've got like some real stars. We have Knots and Bink and oh goodness, like I just said, the Clipse, Family. We've got the Spooks Who Step Out of Speaker, Doubt. There's just so many people from our area making noise musically. Jay Clyde, I want to shout him out. JP, the producer, she's also from Norfolk. So there's so much talent in our area. I always say I will put Virginia Beach, the 7 cities against anybody, and athletics too, because we have Allen Iverson, Michael Vick, Sweet Pea. Yeah, we've got it. Like I tell people, very low key, we've got it. And I'm always give us my area, my hometown, the props. Because like I say, music or athletics and even everything else in between. We got it, baby.
Yeah, so one of my brothers is actually from Virginia, so that's one thing. Yeah, he's from Hampton, Charles City.
Okay, so
Yeah.
he's from what we would say the other side of the water or the peninsula or in Hampton. But yep, that's all there.
And then, but I want to give a shout out to Pusha T. That's actually one of my favorite artists. Well, the Clipse as a whole, but Pusha T, you know, I'm a sucker. You know, that cocaine thing just resonates with me.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Knots. He doesn't get as much props as he should as a producer.
And I love his work.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of a guy named Jeez?
Jeez, no, rapper.
He's a rapper. And
I haven't.
I just interviewed him. I interviewed him back in January as well.
Okay.
He's from Virginia Beach.
Okay, I'm gonna check him out.
If you're a fan of like Roc Marciano, like that sound, yeah, I'm gonna send you everything you need to do. But I think he'll be a perfect person for you to interview.
Yeah, thank you. Send it on.
Okay. Now, what inspired you to launch the Music and Makeup podcast?
Well, it was a couple of things. First, I think at that time, I'm always one of those, if you want to be what it is that you want to see. So I had to kind of reach a point where it's like, I want to do a podcast. I'm going to say I didn't really want to do a podcast. That's not how it initially started. I just was kind of watching things and I didn't see what I wanted to see. I was like, I want somebody, when they give me an album review, I want more in depth than just, you know, these are the 3 songs that I like. You know, I want a lyric breakdown. What lyrics did you like? Like, what was it that you liked about this song so much? Not that, oh, this one was a banger. Like, why was it a banger? And I said, after a while, and I'm big on this, I could either sit and complain and say, I don't like how people are doing it, or I could get in the booth and do what it is that I want to see. Yeah. So I started there. But I felt like just me sitting and just talking in front of the camera and just doing a review, it's something about that felt just, it just didn't settle right with me. So I started to think to myself, when am I most comfortable talking about and listening to music? And it's often when I'm getting ready. So like whatever I'm listening to, or my playlist of songs while I'm getting ready, is just as paramount and important to me. It sets the tone for how I feel. If I'm in a bad mood, I might listen to a certain artist. If I'm feeling like in a real turned up mood, I might turn on like, you know, some Mona Leo or something like that to get in a real turned up mood. And sometimes I'm in like a Roc Marcy type of mood. Sometimes I'm in a Earl Holden type of mood while I'm doing my makeup. I'm kind of feeling my feelings. But I wanted to kind of marry both of those things together. And third, also another point, I also hear like with hip hop, I hear people say, oh, the music, you know, it scares the women or whatever. And this is me trying to find my tribe, because it doesn't scare, like, trust me, it doesn't scare us. There are plenty of women like listening, like I said, listening to Roc Marcy, listening to Boldy, plenty of us. So that's me too, trying to find my group, that group of women, and like bring them into the fold. And that's my audience as well too. So like, this is just one of those things, you know, if you have something you want to see, sometimes instead of complaining, you know, just be the one that builds it.
Well, I like how you balance both, because I mean, first of all, you're able to multitask like quite well. But the way you break down your episodes for people that have not checked out your material. So before she starts beating her face, okay, okay, you go through the products that you're going to use, or the products that you're using. And then I like, once you actually go through that process, then you go into actually doing your face and then talking about whatever album or whatever lyrics and stuff like that. And so the way that you broke down your episodes, I was fascinated with as well. Who has had the most significant impact on your journey, and what makes that influence stand out to you?
Oh, it's a couple people. As far as like podcasting, I really got my start, or got my feet wet podcasting on apartment 4B, or excuse me, it's apartment 5. Hold on, I got to get it right. But I want to get killed because there's so many there's an apartment 4B. the store out in LA. Then somebody's got a nightclub called Apartment 4B. So I just want to make sure I get him right. Apartment 5B. So I was asked to come on a few episodes of, shout out to Kill and his podcast, Apartment 5B. I got asked to come on a couple of episodes. I went on and, he had enough confidence like in my skill and my ability to talk about hip hop. And that's kind of what got me, like kind of pushed me to think, I could do this. I came on a couple episodes. They thought I did okay. I didn't like how fidgety I looked, but he had like a big impact on like getting me started and saying, okay, I believe you could do this. You have a thing. He wanted me to start interviewing. His advice to me, like right on the outset, was to start interviewing, but I wasn't quite ready. But I know the first episode I ever sent him of the podcast, and he was like, no, this is it. Like, this is a thing. And I remember him telling me, he said, I see you as like a VJ, like talking to people. And I couldn't see it yet. Like when he was saying this, and I'm just like, oh, I don't know about interviewing and talking to people. I said, I think like right now I'm just good. And he's like, no. He said, I could see you. And he tried to put me with somebody that was like way out to interview. And I'm just like, I wasn't ready at the time. I just needed like a year of time to kind of develop my interviewing skills to try to get, a good ground. But Kill had a large effect on me getting started. Also on my podcasting journey. But yeah, that was somebody that has influenced my podcasting. Also, Roby has had he's from Urban Culture, has had a huge impact on my podcasting journey, investing in my like equipment and things of that nature to help me get started.
You have the it factor.
Thank you.
Yeah, you.
Thank you.
Like I don't know if you have it, but as a fellow podcaster, you have that. You have that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So I want you to keep continuing to push what you got going on.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, as someone who reviews music as yourself, what is your thoughts on the Clipse upcoming album? Let God sort them out.
I am excited. Well, one, I love Pusha T. Love what he's been doing. But coming up, I love to hear Malice rap. That never leave my house without my peace, like I'm Mahatma. I just caught like what that line was the other day, and I just screamed. I said, "Malice is back." I said, "See," or I don't know if he's going by No Malice or what now, but when I heard that, I said, "See, this is what I like. This is what the type of wordplay that I've come to expect from him and have missed from Malice. Not to say that we don't get it from Pusha T, but I've always just seen it from Malice, and they're okay separate, but they're also like really great as a duo. We have not seen a rollout like this, I feel like, in a long time. I know I had some younger friends tell me like, oh, I think where people are so used to someone announcing an album and then just kind of tossing it to you, and then you don't hear. There's no like to it, and so they're like, oh, the album, they announced it May, June, and we're getting it in July, and I'm like, but look at how it's been rolled out. We've had all kinds of merch rollouts, album, there's gonna be listening. So I've been really impressed by that. And I said there's going to be a tour. I said, so I think we're coming back to an age of where we're letting music live with us a little longer than we normally have in the past. Sometimes an album is released, on a Friday, and then by Wednesday, people have stopped.
Kind of microwavable.
Yeah, people have stopped talking about it. And it's like, to me, I come from the days of like a month you'd be listening to the same album. It didn't get old. So I feel like we're getting back to that. This is going to usher in an era of that. Somebody else, even Cardi B with her album like coming in September, like we are watching a rollout, finally it's coming, but we're watching one.
The issue I have with Cardi B though is she put WAP and another one of her old tracks on there, and I'm like, I don't see why you did that.
No, because those are, at this point, Hopefully, I think that maybe been like a label thing. I'm gonna hope, but yeah, that at this time that song is deep. Like we've heard that. That was several lifetimes ago.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, that's one thing I didn't like about that one. As far as it goes with the Clipse, I feel like first of all, I think they balance both. So I always feel like you have to have both, even though some people think they're twins and they're not. You know, yeah. So Malice is older than Pusha, but they balance each other so well. And then I think Pusha T is strategic. He is real strategic on what he does, and so we saw that same strategy when it comes to strategic on how he handled Drake.
Yeah. Yes.
So
surgical.
Surgical. You know what I'm saying? I feel like he's like that. So yeah, the way he rolls out that album was real good because a lot of people wanted to know, like, okay, how are they going to coexist on an album together, especially with Malice beat or however you want to put it, Malice or no Malice, with the Christian rap, and then push it with the secular, how they were going to do that and stuff like that. And I think they've handled it, quite well.
I think they have. I was gonna say that too, because Malice, as someone pointed out, like is slaying, like just burning his pen is just like burning up, and hadn't used the cuss word yet. Yeah. So, and he's doing it. It's like you almost forget that there are no cuss words in the bowl. Like it's that good. It's one of those things because sometimes in the quest to not put cuss words in it, the raps could come. This is no shot to Will Smith. I love Will Smith, but someone was like, Mallet that's what Will Smith thinks he's doing. Like when he doesn't cuss in his raps. So it's no diss to Will Smith because I absolutely love him, but I see that, and I feel like that takes skill, especially nowadays, to be able to, or maybe it doesn't, to rap without cursing.
There's a few rappers that did it before that didn't cuss, like the DLC.
Yes.
Rakim.
Okay.
The reason why Will Smith doesn't give that same type of thing was because when Will Smith came out, even though he wasn't cussing, he had a lot of comedy within his raps. So it's kind of hard to take somebody serious. That's like it's almost like when you see a comedian like in so many movies take on like an actual like serious role in a film.
Yeah,
it takes a little minute for you to actually believe that.
And say like, okay, this is what he's doing. I got you.
Kind of like when Kevin Hart did the kind of I think it was more like a TV show on Netflix.
It was a more serious role about like he had a brother and I saw that.
Wesley Snipes was like the brother and stuff.
And he was setting him up for trouble and all kinds of other stuff. Marlon Wayans, too, and Requiem for a Dream was like the first serious thing I'd ever seen him in, and I remember. Like just when I saw the poster and it said that he was in it, and I was like, "No, what goofy thing?" Because up until that point, I just know him from like the Wayans brothers, and I'm like, "This is." I said, "What funny shit is he about to be doing now?" And he, like, I was told that was like one of the best roles I've ever seen him in. Like I was like, "Wow, he is really acting." And that day, like, completely changed my watching that movie. Completely changed my perspective on him because I'm like, he really like has serious acting chops. He's not all just comedy. But I feel that and maybe Will Smith in that sense when we see him, and then too, I think because parents just don't understand was like his most. That's when I think of him and like rapping. That's what I think of is parents just don't understand. And maybe the Wild West.
Yeah, that one in Nightmare on
Elm Street. I mean, I remember it was that. Yeah, it was in that same time as parents just don't understand. So I don't think of him ever having a serious song.
Yeah,
the Summertime. But even that, when you think about it,
I felt like on Summertime he copied. I felt like he took the cadence from Rakim.
Yes. Yes, you know what? When you think about it, if you think with parents just don't understand, and even the Nightmare on Elm Street, you are right. The cadence is very different.
Yeah, I feel like you put that cadence on that song. Yeah.
That's
So
something to think about.
yeah, if you close your eyes and you listen to that song "Summertime" and then you just vision Rakim, it's like
Uh-huh.
I can hear Ra actually spitting that like
That verse.
yeah, spitting those verses. Yeah. Now,
Hmm.
can you describe what's your creative process when you are producing a podcast episode? Because, like I said before, how you broke down okay, I'm gonna do this and after I beat, after I describe the products I'm using, then I'm gonna do this. Like, what made you like? How's
So
your
usually I'll pick of like an album. So one premise about when I'm doing an album review, I don't like to review anything that I don't like. So I'm always going to share the music that I like. Reason being is I feel that art is subjective, and somebody, putting together their album, that's their art. That's their way that they're choosing to express to the world. I'm not going to get on my platform and say like, "Oh, your art sucks." I'm not going to do that.
okay?
I would just rather not review it and leave it alone. But if I find some music that I like, something that I'm into, I'm going to share it. So I usually start there. Like, what album am I into right now that's just come out that I'm into right now? And I feel like the world needs to hear. If it's not an album or music that I'm thinking of, I will say to myself, I'm like, okay, well, what's a music related topic, something I might be thinking about, something that I might have heard. For instance, there was something they were talking about sampling, or not sampling, about church singers and the fact that we need to start going back to church so that we could get more R&B singers, because most singers came from church and that we're missing that. And I wanted to talk about that statement is layered, and it's not just about us just going back to church. You'd have to fix the things that happen in church for people to want to go back. So discussion of that sort. And that's pretty much what I'll do. I'll vacillate between those two topics. And then once I kind of pick out what it is that I want to do on the makeup side, if it's some new makeup that I've gotten, I'll say, okay, I'm going to try this, on this episode. And I'm always getting some new makeup. So every week it's something different. If I learned a new technique, it's summertime. So, more makeup that's like summertime and festival friendly, concert friendly. I do want to start doing like a wear test where I do my makeup and then see how long it lasts throughout a concert, because these are like real situations too. Ladies want to know when they're doing their makeup. It's one thing to do it, but does the product last? How does it, act in the wild, so to speak?
Okay.
But that's how I pretty much think of it. The makeup, and it all kinds of goes together, and I'll kind of throw on a playlist, put my notes together about what it is that I want to talk about, and just, press record.
Okay, all right. Well, hey, like I said, like the way you roll them out is phenomenal, and I like I said,
Thank
I like how
you.
you put everything together, and I also like how you're starting to kind of branch out more as far as like interviewing artists, as well
Mm-hmm.
as I don't think you actually put this. I know you have it on your Instagram where you do like the fit check, like
Uh-huh.
yeah. I know you haven't put that on any of your episodes and stuff, but I just think that probably be a little tight commercial break.
That is so the fit checks started because I had to go back into the office. So at one point at my job, we were 100% telework. And, that was that. Then we got called back into the office. It was 2 days a week. And I was really salty about that. And I felt the only thing to make me feel better about it is I will turn this into content. Because at the time I was growing my TikTok. And I said, I'm going to turn this into content. Plus, at that time, other women were like going back to work. And because we hadn't been out of the house, like wearing work clothes, a lot of other folks were like, what do I wear? What do I put on now? Or what do I wear back to the office? So I was like, okay, maybe I can be a model to someone. Like, this is something I can wear as we're going back to the office. And as the office days increased, so did the outfits of the day. They're kind of gone now because I have kind of early retired, so to speak. I don't know it's such a long story. So now they've kind of gone now. So there are
Okay.
I do them on occasion. Like if I'm getting ready to go somewhere, I'm going out later today, I'll probably do one, but they're not every day anymore. I do want to start incorporating the more fashion content because I think as you get older, women, I don't know how it goes for men, but as women, sometimes it's hard to turn that corner with fashion, to transition from like youthful clothes to something that's, I hate saying age appropriate, but something that's for you, because you can still, dress cute, but more towards your age, what to wear in an office. Because there's a whole generation of like younger women that started their careers virtually and have not been in the office. So they don't know like what to wear and what have you. And I don't grieve them for that. That's not where they started at. I started in an office. So it's been drilled into me. Somebody that hasn't, they're not going to know. But I wish I could incorporate, I probably will. Maybe next year I'll find a way like to work that into my content.
Okay. Now that we're on the topic of fashion though, okay, because men do have the same problem as women on age appropriate. You just saw you remember we had the situation a while back with the guy was like, I'm not fresh.
I ain't fresh. I ain't fresh. You're not fresh. No. At all. No, sir. You just gotta take your L, bro.
But he had on the polo with the the creased up jeans and stuff. And I think it was some blue New Balances and stuff, and everything was coordinated and was matching. Did you think he was fresh?
I thought he was fresh.
I did too. So I didn't see
I thought he was fresh. The kids now don't like polo. The kids don't, the younger generation. My son, we've bought him some really good polo pieces, and he's just like, oh no. And so they wear a lot of sweatpants. I thought, like I said, the way that man was dressed, I'm like, that's how men used to dress all the time. Yeah, all the time. So to me, that I thought he was fresh. But I do want more men. I do for more outfit of the day and get ready with me content, because I feel like sometimes they're like older gentlemen that might be struggling, or anyone that's like struggling to, find their sense of fashion. And sometimes if you're able to see how someone else has maybe put an outfit together, you might not do it word for word, bar for bar, but you can say, okay, this person, we're like the same shape, or this is something I would wear. I might not wear this exact color, but the gist of this outfit, the feel of this outfit, I would wear this. And I think more men should do like, and I know folks say, oh, you don't do out, but I think there's a lane for it, because I would say like, where would you go if you were my age and you were wondering like, well, what are the other men like my age, your age wearing across the place? What do you wear to A, B, and C function? I know there's been times I've even gone to TikTok to see like, what is everyone wearing to concerts or to an outdoor thing? Like, what's the vibe? And you can get it. Like I said, doesn't mean you got to take an outfit and copy it word for word. You can just look at it and say, okay, now I'm gonna put my spin on it, or this is how I would, make this my own. So
yeah, because to me, what he had on was something I would even wear to a concert, like casual.
Yeah,
that was that look to me, but that was just me.
Nah, that was the fit.
Yeah, that was nice. He had everything down to, especially the damn crease in the pants.
Yeah,
that was some time. That was time consuming right there. People don't understand.
The pants were sharp. Listen, they don't iron clothes anymore. Everyone, like my mom used to say, everything looks like you just pulled it from under a rock. It's just no one irons clothes anymore. But he was sharp. Like you could tell he hit that shirt and them jeans with the iron before he hit the house, before he left the house. Yes.
Now, back to your episodes. Now, do you is there a specific episode or segment that you feel particularly proud of? I mean, I'm pretty sure you're proud of all of them, but
I would say, probably probably my Boldy James and Roc Marciano episodes. I did the Boldy James episode, I think is over a year old, but I was really proud of that episode. I don't know. I felt like my most thorough and in-depth. My review of Marciology also was another one that I loved because I felt like it was one that I really got a chance to take my time doing. And it was just very thorough and in-depth. Interview-wise, I've loved all the interviews that I've done thus far. It's hard to think of a favorite, but most recently, my conversation with Showalter, the producer, was a really good one. And SB's really all of those, I'll say every single episode, every interview that I've had has been fantastic. I've walked away from each interview, like feeling good and hoping that I had like poured something into them and given them like a place to, share their art and, let some shine the light on some of the music that I love and music that I've found. But I'll say that every single interview that I've done, every one that I do, I'm just extra proud, like beaming with pride when I'm editing it. Once I finish filming it afterwards, I just want to just run around the house screaming. But I'll say that the interviews and the Roc Marcy and Boldy episodes.
Yeah, you killed that. So your interviews, you're like such a likable person.
Thank you.
Did you just like I said, when I saw the King Shams one, and then you just did the one recent, was that Nitty?
I with Nitty Blanco. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so I'm like, okay, and like I said, I like how your engagement, but then the Boldy James, and it's crazy because Boldy James is in my top 5 favorite rappers like right now.
Mm-hmm.
But Roc Marcy's actually in my top 5 favorite rappers of all time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I even
okay, I see you got the Mossberg.
And I got a sign.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know that's right.
Yeah. Yeah, I was able to go to a concert when he came here to Seattle, man. That's why I asked you, did you know Saleem? Because I saw the picture with y'all two together.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
No, I know Saleem from his work when he worked at the Howard here. So I knew him. I know him from his work from when he was working here at the Howard Theater, and I think he was doing like management, and I know he was Roc's road manager at the time. But he was always doing like the management of events. And one thing that I always loved about him, I learned about humility, no matter how far like you go in life, from Saleem, like having some sense of humility and not being afraid to do what you need to do to get the job done. I just have a story real quick. He did an event or did the Little Brother show at the Howard. There was like a line wrapped around, the theater. And I know once we got up to the front, it was Saleem there. He was like, taking tickets, getting people, ready. And I thought to myself, most people, when they're like the promoter or they're managing an event, they, they're on their little throne and they're not down in the weeds. They take the, I'm the promoter, I'm not doing that, they're too. So I've seen people where they feel like they've exceeded a point where they're too good to do things like that. Yeah. And when I saw him doing that, it's always something that stuck with me that, never get too high to, be able to want to get down and get your hands dirty or to do what needs to be done to make the event successful or to make the mission successful. And I learned that, by watching Saleem. That one night had like such an impact and it like really like stuck with me. But that is where I know him from, his work at the Howard. I'm very proud of his trajectory. He's also my example in life about pivoting, in his story and how he pivoted from DC to like what he's doing now as an A&R. And that's always, whenever I'm scared to pivot or go in a new direction, I do think about, Saleem's story. So he has been a huge inspiration to me on my, journey to doing what it is that I do.
Yeah, shout out to Saleem. It was the same way, like I said, when he came here, when he was in Seattle, I was able to approach him, let him know, like, hey, look, hey, this, Roc is in my top 5 of all times. Like, man, I need to meet him. He had already signed, he had already autographed the album, And he was like, I told him who I was in the podcast and everything, but he brought me back to the back, man. And, I got a chance.
That is Saleem.
Yeah, so yeah.
That is Saleem. I always say that one of the most like stand-up people that I know, but that I believe that sounds like Saleem 100%.
Very humble dude, man. Very humble guy.
Yes.
I can't lie. Yeah.
Yes.
Now, I'm down to my favorite question that I ask every guest on the show. But who are your top 5 favorite rappers?
Oh, okay. Hell, through my teeth. Okay, top 5. This is in no particular order because I can't do all that. So we're gonna say top 5 right now because there are some, the Biggie and Pop.
Give me your top 5 favorites right now.
Okay.
And then your top 5 favorite rappers of all times.
Okay, we're gonna do top 5 of right now. That's real easy for right now. Okay, for right now, Boldy, Roc Marciano. I feel like I'm gonna miss somebody.
That's 2.
Oh, I'm gonna say, because it's always those 2. I'm gonna say for right now, I'm gonna go and throw it out there. Monday Night. Is number 3. Monday Night.
Okay.
This is hard. Listen, I might have to go in because
You're going to get in there.
I'm gonna see, what does Apple Music say? Hold on.
You got to get in your device.
I have to look at, what does Apple Music say? See, and Apple Music just says Boldy and Roc Marciano. Let's see. Okay, so I said Boldy, Roc Marciano, Monday Night.
You've been listening to Tecmo Bowl so long.
I know, listen. I'm gonna go.
You already got 3. So you got 2 more.
3. I'm gonna go Rome Streets.
Okay, shout out to Rome Streets, which is somebody I've been needing to interview.
Oh yeah. Oh, how many more do I
have? You need 1 more. Rome Street can hold a blade. Never mind. That's a whole nother thing.
I can see. Since we saying Rome Streets too, I thought I said 4. Okay, I said Roc Marcy, Boldy, Monday, Rome, and I'm gonna go China Streets.
Okay.
And I'm gonna write. That's my 5 for right. This was hard. I'm missing somebody. This is the 5 that I can think of right now. I know everyone's gonna watch this and say you forgot about, but right now this is the 5 in my head. Per Apple Music.
Okay, hold on.
Them the 5
for right now, right?
For right now.
Yeah. Okay, all right.
For right now.
Baby, when you touch me, do you feel the fire? That ain't just desire. Boy, it's something higher. Ooh, I ain't just your woman.
Olympia Artesian Vodka. When you want something smooth, look no further than the finest vodka. Proudly distilled and bottled with natural artesian water in Tumwater, Washington. It's the water. Drink responsibly.
Ooh, boy, don't you see? I'm more than a name.
Alrighty. So, do you have your top 5 favorite rappers of right now locked in? The answer's locked in?
Yes, answers are locked in. So, top 5. Of course, Roc Marcy, Boldy James. I'm going to go China Streets.
Okay.
Monday Night.
And then 1 more.
And 1 more. We're saying for right now, I'm going to go, because I really enjoyed his album, I'm going to say Willie the Kid, number 5.
Okay. Shout out to Willie.
Yeah, I liked his latest project with V Don Deutschmarks. Was it Deutschmarks? I'm just like his latest project with V Don, the Deutschmarks, and then they also did another project, his project with Real Bad Man. So those two have been in like heavy rotation around here. So I'm gonna give it to Willie right now.
Okay.
And then China Streets. Love her work. I hope she's coming out with some more music soon. But her album, From Hell to Chanel, was really, really good. And if people have not listened to it, go listen to it because it was like,
that's a tight.
but it was it's such a good album. I said it's really for everyone. Even though I know when people hear like it's a woman that's rapping, they assume it's going to be one thing. But her album was one that I was able to play around everybody, and there wasn't a gender that didn't like it. Like the men were rocking with it, the women were rocking with it. It was really had universal appeal. I'm gonna get honorable mention to the Doechii on this list, but for me, China Streets really, I felt like she had the first project that had that from a woman that had like the universal appeal. Okay. That appealed to everybody. And I kept saying, I was like, what is it I love about this album? And that was what it was. I was like, I could play this around and for anybody. And I ain't heard a soul yet that wasn't rocking with it. So her, and then Monday Night, he's a little new, but his pen is also very, very lethal. He has a project, I'm Mad, Hold On, I'm Mad. Thank You, Appreciate It. Any Given Scheme Day. That's his project with Nitty. Any of those are good starters for his work, but he's another one that like really pushes his pen and stays in rotation on my playlist. So those are my 5 as of right now for like what I'm always listening to.
Got it. All right.
Yeah.
Now the hard one, all time.
Of all time, these are controversial. Nas.
Already.
Nas is gonna be Nas, Jay-Z.
Okay.
Ghostface.
Ooh, okay. Underrated. Very.
Yeah. This is gonna be real controversial. Hey, don't say Cameron.
Hey, that's my fellow Aquarius right there.
I get a lot of flack about it, but yeah, Cameron. And then
I got wordplay like a motherfucker, boy.
He does. That's what I'm saying. He has like excellent wordplay. And I tell like folks, I think his antics, people get caught up in like, y'all just put that to the side for a second and listen to this man's bars. It's like he's got some. I did an episode about him too, because I was like, I don't want anyone, every time I bring up Cameron, they want to talk about Pewter's Putin, but I'm like, no. I said, go back to Purple Haze. And I said, some of his best lyrics are on that tape. So yes, Cameron is number 4 and number 5.
I don't want to cut you out, but I got to throw this in here. You know, when people be talking about computers Putin, they actually are saying that type of shit now when they be like,
yeah, the wig is wigging.
Yeah.
Yeah, your wig is wigging. Oh, the lashes is lashes. I hear it. Oh, the blush is blushing. You know, I've seen it. So he started something, as much flack as people gave him. He was early on. He started a trend and was like incredibly early. Yes. Number 5.
Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Are you at 5? Yeah,
I'm at 5. I'm at 5. Nas, Jay-Z, Ghostface.
Oh, Cameron. Okay.
Cam. Yeah. And number 5 of all time. Oh, 3 Stacks.
Ooh.
That's number 5. Yes. 3 Stacks. It rounds out number 5. Love Below and all his other work prior to that. And then whatever he would get on, like the Throw Some D's on It freestyle, even on Hey Miss Donda. I mean, yeah. Like he still has it. So those are my 5. Top 5.
I want a solid album to come from him, though. A solid hip hop album to come from him, though.
I want it, but I know why we'll never get it because of the personality or the person that he is and the direction that he's moved his life. I want it too. Like I want because Lord knows I ran Love Below into the ground. So I feel like I want another one, like a part 2.
Yeah.
But after hearing his interviews, even if we were to get it, I would know deep down his heart was not in it and he was doing it for us and not for himself. And I don't know how much I love the art. It's like Tribe Called Quest. I wanted a Tribe album so bad. And then I saw that documentary and saw all the turmoil that they were going through. And I was like, for them to give us another album, they'd have to come back together and go through all this. And I don't want it. And that's how I was like, I would rather them and they have peace in their personal lives than feel obligated to the fans to have this much upheaval and upset. If y'all coming back together like that, it's cool. I don't want the album. Yeah, I want y'all to have happy lives and be at peace. And so I feel like that with 3 Stacks, I want a 3 Stacks album, but I'll take the flutes and I'll take the flutes and the pianos and we'll love on him in this iteration that he's in. But yeah, I would really like another 3 Stacks album. Big Boy was no slouch on a speaker box either, but it was something about Love Below that was just, it was something different from it for its time. Yeah. And I love that they had that juxtaposition between like speaker box and Love Below, because eventually I made my way to speaker box and I ran that into the ground too, because it was just that too was a different feel. It had a little introspection too from Big Boy. But I think together and even separate, they're another duo that is good separate and apart. When they come together, it's fireworks. And then even when they aren't working together, it's still good.
Well, speaking on working together in duos, I noticed that you're a big Mobb Deep fan as well. Mm-hmm. And so my question to you would be this, because this was a topic of discussion before. Why do you think Blood Money wasn't as popular as the prior Mobb Deep albums, even though it had the hit songs that it had, like Have a Party with Nate Dogg, and it had the Out of Control remix and stuff like that? What was your thoughts on it? Because I had mine. I gave my opinion before. So I
think that audiences get stuck on wanting a certain sound or a certain album from people, and then they don't want to support whenever an artist is going maybe in another direction, trying another sound, working with other producers. The audience doesn't want to, they're not quick to support. And I see that all the time. Like even now, when you see somebody, Benny the Butcher used to get this bad. If he worked with anybody besides Derringer, or Alchemist, people would get, no, we want this sound. It's like, why would you not, as you elevate and move on in your career, why would you not try other sounds and other things as you get access, to other producers and other opportunities? And I think us as a fan base, sometimes we will try to hold an artist to a sound, but people are always growing and changing, and what worked for them or what they might have liked to do, 2 albums ago, they might not want to do. So I feel like it suffered from a bit of that, people not wanting to support for that reason. They may have been locked into a feeling and what their thought of Mobb Deep was.
Okay, that was similar to what I said then, because I felt like the grimy sound that they had, I felt like when they did the Blood Money with G Unit, it was too mainstream for them to really tap into. And so I felt like that's kind of when they kind of pushed away a little bit.
And to the politics of what was going on at that time. I think because that was at the time, 50 was on fire. And, I think it was just that they got kind of swept up in that. When I think legitimately, they were just looking for a deal in another place for their sound. And I feel like they kind of got swept up into the politics of what 50 had going on at the same time. I think that too played into why people weren't so receptive. They just looked at it. A lot of folks, just as I'm remembering that time, looked at it like, oh, they're just running to G Unit. and running from place to place. Because I think at that time, 50 had signed some other people too, but at the time,
had MOP and all them.
Yeah, and I just remember a couple people like looking at it is like they couldn't be successful on their own. Now they running to 50, and I think that probably had a part to do with it, as well.
I definitely agree with you on that one. I definitely agree. I think the fucking G Unit tattoo on the hand didn't help either.
Yeah.
I think that shit was too fast. It was
too much. That's when people get tatted. That's in any relationship. I'm like, oh, you might.
Yeah. What artist you think sounds better with Derringer, since you brought that up?
Sounds better.
Yeah. Who do you think has the better marriage when it comes to that with Derringer?
Conway.
Okay, I was about to say
Conway and Derringer. I feel like that's Conway's style anyway, is a bit of I don't want to say darker, but Conway has a bit of a like grimier sound, and Derringer makes those kind of beats. But then again, Derringer has been kind of expanding his sound. I forgot what song it was, but another placement he had, it didn't sound anything like what I would think a Derringer beat would sound like. But when it comes to like pairings, I like Derringer and Conway together.
I do too. And I kind of used to hate when people compared Derringer's sound to Alchemist.
Yeah. They're nothing alike. Alchemist can go there, like he can get there, he can give you that sound. Not to say the Derringer doesn't have range, but Alchemist has like a bunch of that's not just his one sound to be able to make like if you just made a comparison and say, oh, they're just alike, because Alchemist has so many different lanes and pockets that he can jump into, that I think it's unfair to just like stick him and say, oh, him and Derringer are like, because they make the same like grimy type of sound.
Yes. Well, Miss Darling, I'm finna hit you with a hard question.
Okay.
This one was also brought up. This one also brought to me as well. The last guest I had on the show, shout out to T Hottie out of South Central LA.
Mm-hmm.
She hit me with a damn question, and I ain't gonna lie, it was a hard one. But I was kind of prepared for it, for me being a hip hop head like I am. But I definitely want to ask this one. So I noticed that when you gave your top 5 of all time, you kind of didn't have any West Coast artists on there, right? So question would be this: out of the West Coast and East Coast, which coast do you think has the best body of work when you talk about albums?
Ooh. Now, I want to say this. It's funny that you mentioned my start and my introduction to hip hop came through West Coast hip hop. So, when we talk about bodies of work, now if we want to talk about for sentimental value for me, because my start was on, I don't know. That's all. So you're asking who do I feel like has the bigger body of work?
I wouldn't say bigger, just the better. So when you talk about Chronic, Doggy Style, All Eyes on Me,
this is hard.
America's
That's a
Most
hard
Wanted,
question.
DJ Quick's, first album with Tonight on it, and then you look at Illmatic.
Wu-Tang
Wu-Tang.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Y'all don't make me do this. Okay, so I'm gonna have to say, and two, because I hate saying this because I feel like
don't forget you got DMX first one, and also
I'm gonna say the East. I'm gonna say the East Coast.
The East, okay.
But it's with an asterisk. I'm gonna say the East Coast. But I'm going to say at the same time, like California is like there's more cities or more states up and down the East Coast than you would say that there is on the West Coast. So you have California, and then you have Washington, Oregon, Portland. I'm just talking about on the coast. So how we have, I feel like it's an unfair comparison.
Okay, well,
because
that's
like saying, oh, we're going to take the state of Virginia and
okay,
maybe
so
three other states, and we're going to judge that against another coast.
Okay, so California against New York. Let's do that. I got what you're saying. I got what you're saying. I understand how you're trying to slip your ass up out of there.
Like, okay. Well, let's see. I would have to say
that was a good one. You almost
I almost jumped out of that. Dang. I'm gonna say the East Coast.
Still, okay.
But I always put an asterisk to that because I know as soon as we get off of this call, I'm going to start thinking about every single West Coast album I've ever listened to. I'm like, oh no, wait. So right now I'm going to say New York, they got it with the catalogs. Because like you said, there's DMX, there's Nas, there's Jay-Z,
you got Wu-Tang.
Wu-Tang,
first one.
Big Punt, Fat Joe, Remy Ma. I'm not even scratching. And then they have like Roc Marciano, Busta Rhymes, Flip Mode, and it's
Busta. When I forgot all about Busta right now.
Yeah, it's so many.
You got 50.
Now they got there's so many, and then if you count like out of the state, then they have Griselda, and I'm gonna give it to New York. I'm with
you. But now look, but now that you said it, like I'm starting. Now I'm like, okay, hold on.
Thinking.
I'm thinking like after Tupac, Snoop, and Ice Cube. I'm thinking like E40, Too Short.
Yeah.
Like
that's why I think of these things. The Licks.
The Alcoholics.
Yeah, so that's a DOC and all of NWA.
Would you classify DOC as a West Coast artist though?
Oh, because he's from Dallas.
He's from Dallas. He's from Oak Cliff.
Okay,
but I guess you could. I mean, he represents the West Coast.
But see, I rocked with. But I would. Well, we're gonna still we have to put people where they are. So then he belongs to Dallas because just recently. Somehow New York is starting to claim the Clipse. Somebody said he was born in the Bronx. I said, we're not doing that. The Clipse are from Virginia Beach. In a discussion.
Would you classify that as East Coast or South?
Oh, we get this all the time. For Virginia Beach, Virginia, because Virginia is vast. Virginia, the 7 cities, I consider that, what do we call ourselves? The Mid-Atlantic region. Only because if we say that we're not the South, like in the sense of Miami and South Carolina, we're not in Atlanta, we're not the South in that sense, but we also aren't up north either. Like I wouldn't classify us like being closer to New York. We're not like DC. So we're like in the Mid-Atlantic, because if you even Richmond is completely different from the 7 cities. So Richmond is its own like type of culture because they're actually closer to DC. So we have things in common, but they're a little bit further up the road. Then if you talk about like Tappahannock and where Chris Brown and them are from, that's another different part of Virginia. It's like western part. So and I would consider out there, to me, that's country. Now, if you ask me, that part of Virginia yes, that's the South. Okay. The part that we're in is like the beach, so it's not necessarily the South. And then further up, like Richmond, is more so the city. So Virginia has like 3 different identities existing at the same time. And we're sandwiched in between the North and the South. So I've always said we have like a bit of an identity crisis because it's like we don't know what we want to be because we're in the middle. And we're a Navy town. So most people, they're stationed there. My parents came there because they got stationed there and they just stayed. So it's very few people, like I'm from there, but there's a lot of people that aren't from there. They got a parent that was stationed there and now this is where they live or this is where they grew up or they only here for a little bit and then they're leaving out. So That's the uniqueness of Virginia. That's a battle that we're always arguing online. Like, are we the South or not? And some people would say that we are. And in Northern Virginia, where I'm at now, they would not consider themselves the South because we're close to DC and Baltimore. So it's where I would say for Virginia, it's where you're positioned at the time.
Within the state.
Within the state. Like I said, you go out Western Virginia, Suffolk, I consider that the South. Petersburg, Petersburg is kind of Richmond, but it's still not further out. I'm trying to think of like Roanoke and Roanoke Rapids and
what
Western.
About Lynchburg?
Yeah, going closer towards West Virginia, to me, that's the country. That is the South. But I could not sit here and say in good conscience all the way that we would call like Virginia Beach the Deep South.
Okay. Now,
Yeah.
I also found out too that you're a big fan of MF Doom too, right?
Yes.
Okay. You have any? Any fun facts on him?
Fun facts on Doom. Not really any fun facts, but I just know that I love a lot of his work. Well, here's a fun fact, or I guess a story or a rumor. So he has an artist, if y'all know on Rap Snitches, there's a second voice rapping Mr. Fantastic. And for the longest time, if you go down this rabbit hole on the internet, if you want to, people have made the suspicion that, or started the rumor that Doom is actually Mr. Fantastic. And it was just Doom playing around with the tone and texture of his voice, on the mic. And he is actually Mr. Fantastic because nobody has ever seen him. And when people have made efforts to kind of catch up with him, to interview him, and if you think about it, we've never seen Mr. Fantastic. We haven't heard any more from him since Doom's passing. But there's always a speculation. So in Rap Snitches, that it's actually Doom and Doom on that track. And I think there's another song too on King Ghidorah. There's Mr. Fantastic, and nobody has ever seen him. So I've gone down a rabbit hole trying to look and find, and I actually believe that because they said it was at a time where Doom was experimenting with voices and things like that. So it could very possibly be, but that is a fun story if you want to go down that rabbit hole that, and which would make sense too, because, he was known to have other people come and perform for him while they were wearing the mask. And it would just be somebody else would show up and would be performing the song. So I feel like it's not that far off for him to have been using another voice. But one thing I love about Doom is that his ability to shift and create these different worlds, like through his music, there's truly like a Doom album for every mood in my life. There's, King Ghidorah. I always say that when I'm in a like weird nerdy mood, because a lot of the basis of that movie is like Godzilla and Godzilla versus Ghidorah, the old movies. And then of course, there's food, and there's a lot of commentary on that about, fake rappers, and then, the food that we eat and what we're putting into our bodies. Mad Villainy was another one that gave a lot of commentary on the world. I find that we're moving into a time where it's going to be even more relevant now. But that was, between him and Madlib, and that opened me up to more Madlib production. But yeah, Doom is by far one of my favorites. I attribute like a lot of his music for opening up so many other worlds of hip hop to me. And just one of my favorite rappers and producers at that.
Yeah, I think MF Doom was one of the ones that was able to kind of change his persona. When you kind of like how 2 Chainz was like Titty Boy and then he became 2 Chainz. So
yes.
So do you think using that? Mm-hmm. Do you think he should have stayed Zev Love X?
I feel like that in reading his story, I feel like that transformation was necessary for him to keep rhyming, keep the rapping going. A lot of the covering of the face came from like the passing of his brother and trying to figure out how he was going to, push forward after his brother died. And I feel like in order for him to have like a method to keep going, because Doom's thing after his brother passes, he just wanted it to be about like the rhymes and the beats, none of this extra frills. And that's how the mask came about, and just rhyming and beats, and that let that be it. And I feel like we wouldn't have gotten that from him, or if he didn't have the ability to like wear a mask, and we didn't give him the space to do that, we wouldn't have gotten the music, because this is in the way that he most felt comfortable, after his brother's passing, pushing forward. So I feel like it's one of those things. It was necessary for the art for him to go in that direction. But I used to love the song Peach Fuzz was my Jake, and I enjoyed him as Zev Love X, and it was great to look at him. But I say we sacrificed that to get such a great body of art from him. So if that's what he needed to do, even a lot of folks are like, I'm not going to no concert where he's got a mask on and it could be somebody else, but it's really about the music and hearing it live. And I know I said it wouldn't bother me any, because if that's what he needs to do to be able to create and provide his art to the world, then, by all means, do it. Go or don't go to the show, your audience will find you. But if that's what he needed to create and he had to go in that direction, I'm happy that, he had that space to do so.
Okay. Well, I'm going to add to your fun fact. Third Base did state that he created the gas face. The
gas face. I believe that. That sounds like a Doom type of situation, because he had the song too, Gas Draws.
Yeah.
So
he created it. And he was in the video. Obviously, he rapped without the mask before he did that. So yeah. So, but I'm big on people that kind of reinvent themselves like that. Another person I want to give a shout out to is Great God from up in New York.
Yeah.
And so I tell people, like, if you listen to Great God and you were a fan of him, then you would know who he was under the mask. And so I've talked to him a few times. He's actually told me that he was thinking about taking it off.
I like that. Some of my favorite artists wear masks. I like it. I think I can respect it, because it allows you to still keep yourself, like a part of yourself, to yourself. I think it adds to a mysteriousness. What's the other producer? It's not great. I know there's Great God, and I cannot think of his name, but it's another producer that kind of keeps himself covered, and his name is escaping me, and I will probably remember as soon as we hang up.
Let me know then.
But I always, I like that for them, because sometimes, having your face I don't know,
hold on. I know who you talking about.
You know who I'm talking about, because sometimes he's been around Great God in them. And so I'm like, they both.
Mac Homie.
Mac Homie, yes.
Yeah,
that's not who I'm thinking about. But Mac Homie, you get to still live your life. So even if I would not know Mac Homie if he walked down the street, I wouldn't know Great God, because I've got introduced to his music with the mask. So I wouldn't know Great God if he walked into a room, and it'll show you how people will treat you. Great God could walk into a room right now and you'll know exactly how people really feel about you, versus you come in with the mask and like, oh, that's Great God. You see what I'm saying? I think it helps decipher, and it gives an honesty, because without the mask, you don't know how to, you don't know who I am. You don't know how to treat me different if you want to. I'm going to see your real personality. Yeah. So I think too that there's so many dimensions to that. I respect it. I know a lot of folks like think of it as like real weirdo shit, but I don't. Like I 100% get it. There's so many reasons I could see why someone would do that, but I could see the main reason, like, keeping a part of yourself. So when you want to just be you don't have to worry, I'm thinking, if you go out to eat or something, you don't have to worry about people pestering you. It invites a level of privacy so that you can still have your regular life. But yes, Mac Homie is one that does that. Like I was telling somebody, I said, we wouldn't know him if we saw him in the streets.
I never actually thought about it like that, but you got a valid point. That is a way, because you don't have to worry about that type of situation that like famous artists deal with all the time.
Yeah.
They be out with their family and people be like, can I get an autograph? Can I get this? You can kind of still do your job, but separate. Yeah.
And then I even thought from like another perspective, if someone wanted to stop rapping or say, I want to get out of this industry, you can comfortably do that and transition to something else because no one knows your face. You could go do something else. No one knows, so they don't even know this part of your life. So even if you do, like you said, you pivot and you go on to something else, you start with a clean slate because people know this masked person. This is me. I like it. A lot of like Clark Kent, Superman. I've always been into. Yeah, I think maybe because I've always had like a fascination with people having like alter egos and things of that nature. And I feel like the mask in a way is an alter ego. Like her, remember she kept the glasses on forever. So we never saw her eyes. And I could respect that because I'm like, you keeping something to yourself. We can't have all of you. I'm going to keep something to myself that's just, for when I'm by myself, and that's people being able to see my eyes. That's something personal or whatever. But that's something I can understand.
Okay. Well, hey, we down to our tail end. And so one thing I want to say from, Gutter Kane and Serving the Raw, we want to give you, Miss Nola Darling, your flowers right now.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? For everything that you're doing with the podcast and the makeup and how you're continuously to build up your with entrepreneurship.
Yes, thank you.
I also want to thank you for giving me your time so we can discuss and stuff like that, and this is a safe space so we can always do this again.
No problem.
My platform,
thank you,
open and available to you.
This was a good conversation. This was good.
Oh, hey, look, this is something that I'm excited about. I think it went well. This is something that we can definitely do again. And
absolutely.
So anytime you're doing something, if you need me.
Will do. Absolutely. We work across platforms here. So absolutely.
Okay. Well, can you let the audience and stuff know how they can reach and connect with you?
Yes, you can find me on Instagram at Music and Makeup Podcast. You can find me on YouTube at Nola Darling and on TikTok at Pistols in, just the letter N, palosanto.com. And that's where you can find me on all platforms.
Yes, and I will have her social media links down in the description.
All right.
I want to thank my viewers and listeners for checking out another episode of Serving the Raw. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave us a comment below and hit that like and subscribe button. Also, make sure you check us out on all your favorite streaming platforms. We will be back next week with another guest episode. And in the meantime, I want everybody to have just a great week. And so, like I said, I want to thank you again. And hopefully we keep this going.
All right.
All right.
Thank you. Bye.
Peace.
Just make sure the coke fire. Told the jeweler cut some links and bring the gold higher.